champion select?
Yeah, it's going to be a good one, and I think it is a really hard series to predict. We saw the guys on the desk pretty split down the line, and a lot of it may come down to the picks and bans, to the priorities that the teams are going to be setting up.
Seeing the Rise ban is interesting to me. It is Echo Fox's most played mid laner, kind of by far for Fenix, and unless they are willing to first pick Azir away from Febiven, that feels like something that is very scary in the hands of Clutch Gaming. He's actually undefeated 6-0 on that pick.
Yeah, especially with Clutch Gaming banning out Swain already on this red side of the ban phase as well. Definitely rises a little bit in priority, because we've seen pretty standard, if the analyst test is correct and they're going to go more with the standard setup for Echo Fox, and we're going to see tank jungle, tank top, and then Fenix and Altec on that backline DPS. So already we're going to have Dardoch on this early game Olaf. We know that this is the type of jungler that we see from Echo Fox. He wants to get a snowball going early and put the pressure on Clutch Gaming.
And I think that these first round of picks here for Clutch are incredibly strong. Yes, Dardoch is going to be able to get Olaf. He's banned away Trundle, so he has a preferable matchup in the jungle. But Caitlyn's so strong in the bottom lane. Azir is undefeated there for Febiven. Like, these are absolute comfort picks.
Yeah, they're comfort picks, and they're very clear late game scaling DPS from the backline picks. So already in the first round of the draft phase, I feel like we can see Echo Fox wants to go early, and Clutch Gaming wants to play their standard style, scaling up for late.
And you can see how differently these two mid laners really want to play. They have quite different play styles. Febiven is extremely lane focused. He likes to get CS advantages, push turrets. Phoenix wants to take his edge and roam to the side lanes. And these two champions really do allow you to do that.
Yeah, Taliyah here picked up. See if he can make it happen. Always
the optimistic cheers.
It's interesting because, Phoenix was kind of given a break at the end of the regular season, right? They brought in Demonte, gave him stage time, played a bunch of games. But if you have Taliyah and Olaf, you want these two champions and these two players to work very closely together, especially in this early game, because that is definitely the linchpin of how this competition is going to work.
I'm also going to be really interested to see how the Varus is going to fare for Altec into the Caitlyn, because something we've been talking about a lot in playoffs is, can the people play Ashe? And if you can play Ashe, that's a fairly good answer to Caitlyn. Works pretty well in lane against it. Varus has a fairly strong laning phase, but can struggle, I think, a little bit more hard than Ashe does.
And I want to see if Thresh comes through as the final ban as well. 6-1 is Hakuho's record on that champion, including the 3 straight wins over TSM to get to the top for the first place. There is that Thresh ban. The 2 big Hakuho picks are off the table. And of course, this leaves champions like Tahm Kench as a high priority with Braum already gone. And I'm wondering if you find an offensive or an aggressive support, because typically Echo Fox have had a weakness in the bottom lane. I want to see if Clutch attacks that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because typically, like you're saying, Caitlyn will be paired with one of these supports that can protect her through this mid game. Varus and Ashe and these types of AD carries have a level 6 crowd control ultimate they'll usually try and create kills with. So the Tahm Kench that you mentioned is going to be picked up. That was kind of one of the last ones because Braum, Thresh, and Morgana already banned out, and I feel like Echo Fox definitely expecting this Tahm Kench pick, so it'll be interesting to see what their answer is.
And they could go for range support here. I actually think that makes quite a bit of sense if you're saying, hey, Caitlyn has a bit of an advantage over Varus. If you ban out some of these playmakers, you go for something like a Nami, that evens out, or in my opinion, probably even gives the edge to them in that bottom lane, because Tahm Kench, while it is very powerful defensively, is not going to have a lot as far as the harass and the poke that Nami will offer.
There's 2 synergies I really like. One is the heads-up 2-on-2 in lane. I think you are advantaged in the 2-on-2 for Echo Fox, but it's also a nice soft counter pick to Skarner. The tidal wave makes it very good against the ultimate. You don't run very fast. You can't kidnap nearly as well. The blind pick, Ornn, counter picked sort of by Sion, will be the top lane matchup here. 2 tanks in the top lane. We'll see what it looks like.
All right, so we are going to have Huni taking the tank v tank matchup here versus Solo. Solo's been very good with very little resources from the team, especially with Sion. So we'll see how his chances fare, because that Solo matchup on the top side is what a lot of Echo Fox fans have their eyes on.
It certainly is. As Solo was talking before the game, we saw him in his interview saying he just needs to neutralize. He doesn't need to win the top side of the map. He has confidence in Febiven and Apollo to carry these games, and getting himself into this tank versus tank matchup is a fairly good way to try to neutralize. We'll see, though, does Dardoch want to focus up there regardless?
Yeah, I think the bottom lane is definitely going to be an area of focus. It'll be interesting to see if Echo Fox do want to dedicate more resources into Altec and Adrian as a win condition for themselves. And as the early stages of this game, they have the Olaf and the Taliyah that can go to the bottom lane and try and get a snowball rolling. One other thing I do like about pairing the Nami with Varus is, yes, the Tahm Kench will try and come eat someone out of the initial crowd control, but then you throw your Nami bubble towards where you're predicting Tahm Kench to walk towards, because you know he's coming in for the Devour.
Absolutely could be very strong here. Final lineups on your screen as we get ready to get into the first game of this match. Not only does it mean the bronze medal in the NA LCS Spring Split, but it is also the final spot at Rift Rivals to represent North America up against Europe. And there's certainly a lot of players here who would like revenge against some of these EU teams. Febiven was knocked out of the playoffs by G2 and Fnatic throughout the entirety of last year. Would love to get some revenge on them now in North America. And we will see as we get ourselves into game one. Echo Fox taking on Clutch Gaming.
All right,
the Rift.
First we've got Stopwatch here, only one on the field. Phoenix has picked it up along with his minion dematerializers. Those are coming at later activations, but you still have to worry about the plays that you can pull off. And again, the Echo Fox team, these champions are geared towards creating more plays earlier on, and Clutch Gaming are trying to deny.
And I always like to see what players decide. Do you emphasize a strength with your rune choices, or do you try to show up a weakness? And taking minion dematerializer here on Phoenix for this Taliyah, who has such incredible wave clear, is really emphasizing the strength. You're going to be able to push in the Azir. That's going to give you more access to roaming, more access to the side lanes, and we'll see, if he can make something from that.
I like this. Also, the Spire captures. Phoenix could have gotten 15 free gold by standing on it, but not the end of the world there as they try to make the early jungle for LirA a bit more difficult. Solo waiting around on the wings, and we'll see Huni walking back around.
This is definitely something necessary from Echo Fox here. They're being proactive early on. They want to abuse this matchup as early as possible. Dardoch's even sticking around in that top red quadrant of Clutch Gaming's jungle. It's going to start on the Raptors and steal this one away. Now, the counterplay to this is usually you're going to see LirA try and go get some of Echo Fox's jungle. However, that's very difficult since their bottom lane also is pushing, since they did not have to leash for Dardoch. So Echo Fox are going to try and sequester LirA there into a single quadrant and limit his jungling early.
This is a really nice early game. I super love this from Echo Fox. Planned out pretty nicely. 2 camps taken away, and LirA might not have an easy answer. And we'll see where pathing leads everyone, because LirA now has no reason to be bottom side after Wolves are gone. And we've seen a lot of level 4 Drake takes early game by Olaf, and they could sign up for that as well.
Yeah, this is actually fairly reminiscent of the first game of the TSM series, where they had Dardoch, or they had Olaf as well with Mike Young, and they constantly invaded over and over and kept down the enemy jungler. Here we go, though. LirA is going to go find his Spire at least.
Yeah, it's also another path that allows Dardoch to have the option of ganking top if he wants to look for that, or even basing early, getting the Predator boots. He can re-up his red on the bottom side and then look for a gank there. So he has a lot of options with these sorts of paths, and I think when you have a lane on the top side that is brawling pretty heavily, there certainly is potential to look for plays.
Right now, Huni is out of potions. He's only got that Doran shield for regen, half HP on him, and running a bit lower on mana. Solo actually feeling pretty good about this one. Still has a stack of his corrupting potion as well. And I actually remember talking with an NA LCS pro who kind of said that Solo was the best Sion in NA because he had actually had really good practice weaving ultimates around the map geometry. That's actually a point of mastery. The champion thought his ults were incredibly good. So I'm curious to see how he can play later on in the team fights.
Yeah, Solo definitely one of the less talked about top laners because he hasn't received as many resources and because he was a North American resident player, right?
Sure.
Those don't get a lot of hype early on, especially when there are so many imports, but he has done very well for himself. We also just saw a featured matchup there for the mid laners as a couple of imports going head-to-head, and Febiven has been one that a lot of people have been talking about.
Yeah, I mean, he's been so incredibly consistent. That's the biggest thing to me. While he is always going to have that really big contribution in team fights, he's very rarely the reason that they lose the game. He's always going to have high farm. He's always going to have a lot of damage output. But the one kind of criticism is that he doesn't play extremely aggressively in laning phase. He's one of the lowest forward percentages in the entire league, and he does focus very heavily on his own lane, less on roam.
And in this game right now, you're seeing him versus the Taliyah with minion dematerializer. Phoenix trying to get that shove. So Echo Fox, they have the 2 shoving lanes down here on bottom side. Dardoch has moved over with double buffs, and he has the option of also taking an early Ocean Drake because his lanes have this pressure. You see both of Clutch Gaming, mid and bottom are pressured under their turrets. Dardoch moves in to try and take the early dragon, and looked like Hakuho there went to go put a ward, but there's not much he can do about it.
They have vision that can maybe spell a bit of a fright, and yeah, Dardoch just pulls it out. The dual lane shows up with everyone under the turret. There is no contest. Ocean Drake will go over cleanly to Echo Fox.
Some extra regeneration going to help out those lanes even more with pushing and roaming. Very good early Drake spawn for Echo Fox. Meanwhile, LirA wants a little bit of counter side up on the top lane.
And Huni is actually quite low here, so there certainly is a potential to pull this off. LirA's going to go in and take aggro.
On flash, gets away from the would-be stun. That's a pretty mandatory flash that Huni well played, and he will survive it. As LirA will walk back out, trades the Predator cooldown for that, but now Huni gets to go for Ocean Drake regen and should be pretty good for a while.
Yeah, and being able to have that in addition to the Ornn passive means you can stay out on the map an incredibly long time because mana is usually what forces you back to base, and the Ocean's going to help out.
And you can see there was no hesitation from Huni flashing immediately as soon as the skill shot's coming in there because he knows that was the only opening where they're going to be able to take him. Meanwhile, the extra level lead in the junglers as well is affording a lot of extra room for Dardoch to work with. Now he does have his Predators as well, with the boots now purchased, and he can look to affect lanes in addition to counter jungling.
I just think it's a really nice game plan, honestly, here from Echo Fox. When you have a Taliyah who's going to shove in the Azir, you have the range support, that should be a pushing lane as well. Then you have the advantageous jungle matchup, and you should be able to get in this guy's face, get an experience advantage, and really look to kind of utilize that as a point of strength.
I mean, speaking of experience advantages, Dardoch hit 6 before LirA hit 5. He's smashing.
Definitely what you expect when we saw Champ select and we see the early game focus and priority that Echo Fox have put, but you have to commend the execution. Because so often we say, oh, yeah, we'll just go with the late game comp, right? It's so much more reliable because you can't make mistakes with the more early game oriented composition lest you get outscaled. Currently, all going according to plan though for Echo Fox.
Looks like the first recalls coming through is Clutch Gaming gonna head back to base and get their first items out. Paulo will get stopped and bubble. That's actually a really huge deal. That's several seconds now lost out, 10 or more as he wants to get back to this one now. The play in the mid lane shuffles Fenix back in. Somebody he'll get out, but he's got to watch out for Olaf. He's going to finally pull turret aggro with the flash. It was a bit too early. First blood comes through for Echo Fox.
Nice dive there for Echo Fox. Febiven played about as well as he could have, on the initial play, but gets corralled, low on HP. Dardoch utilizing the XP and level advantage to be able to get the kill.
Yeah, there's so much map control for Echo Fox. There's nowhere for Febiven to go. Here comes Sion, though.
Fenix has no flash. There's no way out. Solo grabs the kill, and now Dardoch ultless, maybe a source of damage, but look at the turn back. Wants to kill LirA. The flash is in, and Hakuho couldn't find him, but it will be a trade kill unless the exhaust can stop something about this. He lands a slow. Auto W's going to be a chop, and Hakuho going to find himself the kill. 2-2 on the board.
Clutch Gaming counter immediately coming to the mid lane here. Solo ults down, and they do get some kills for themselves, despite Echo Fox taking the lead.
Yeah, and that was so close to Hakuho actually flashing in range to gobble up LirA and maybe save him too, but very, very tense. Febiven playing the initial part of this dive incredibly well, shuffling his opponent back in, but Dardoch was very smart. He waits, he's very patient. Now Fenix is in range, he goes for the kill.
Exactly. Patience is the word, perfect word there, because the tower aggro goes back on the minions. Dardoch waits until he can corner him. Here is the counterplay from Clutch Gaming. They finish off the low health mid laner, and then they're trying to corner Dardoch here, but he flashes to execute just as Hakuho flashes over to try and devour and gets the kill first.
And you can see again how impactful the level advantage is. Imagine that's a level 6 Skarner. He just simply ults Dardoch, that's a guaranteed kill, he stays alive. But because of that work that they put in earlier, he's really getting a big payoff.
And I got to shout out Solo as well. Walked back to the minion wave, threw a minion into the Olaf to get the slow to let Hakuho get the chase down. Really beautiful there. You can see the stat on your screen again, a 6-0 Azir from Febiven. Even got a pentakill in one of those games. And we'll see if this was a sort of a risk in draft that will pay off for Echo Fox. So far, it's been pretty good. He's 0-1. Fenix has a farm lead as well. Let's see if the mid can be advantaged even more from Echo Fox.
And it's going to be really interesting because while Echo Fox, I think, has done well in the early stages, they need to continue to build the advantage. Because Clutch is a team that's so good at minimizing loss throughout the mid and late game, stabilizing, and then taking over late.
Exactly. Now we have them trying to press that advantage. As you say, Azael, moving in for some more counter jungling. They push up with both of their lanes, and Dardoch takes away the blue.
Really nice stuff. The slows don't mean much. They can walk right back out. Next Drake up in a minute and a half, and this Olaf advantage, maybe one a little bit questionable dive, but the Olaf overall has done a lot for this game. Still a several camp lead, still got, well, no longer a full level over LirA, but an advantage in the matchup, taking another camp down.
Yeah, the counterplay there from Clutch Gaming in there, 2 kills that they got in mid lane were very, very good for them as far as buying some time. And that's what they're trying to do for the majority of this stage of the game. Olaf will still have some targets, though. You have to keep track of summoner spells for all of the laners. Actually, mid lane, it looks like a little bit of offense here from Clutch.
Find some damage into Fenix, find a couple more shots as well. Still is flashless, but here comes Olaf, and Febiven just gonna drop. The Emperor's fallen again.
Yeah, those summoners still not up, and Dardoch just moves right in for a counter gank there. Now, can they get some damage on this tower here? It's a red buff Olaf. He can burn it down.
Yeah, the entire squad is here as they need it, and they're going to make sure this one's going to fall. Ulti might just mean a dive towards LirA. They won't get the knockup, though. Jukes to the side. It still will mean first turret, though, and that's a nice play out of the jungle in mid duo. EchoFox winning through mid.
Yeah, it's so well done. Dardoch in the right place at the right time. Clutch want to make that play happen because LirA had flash, because he had ultimate. They're coming in. They're looking for this Skarner Azir combo they've pulled off so many times before. But when the ultimate is not there for Azir to be able to push him into the Skarner, you don't have the initial combo, and Fenix just got out of there so well to avoid most of the damage.
Yeah, Clutch would have had to pull that play off a lot quicker, get the shuffle in. But here we go. We're going to see another play from LirA.
Into the back line. The tidal wave is going to go a little early, but the bubble is nowhere to go. And there's no gank to be had off the ultimate.
They still get a flash for that. So flash for the Tahm Kench ultimate, pretty good. And certainly can look for repeat ganks there onto Altec, who is relatively low mobility.
Yeah, trying to keep him honest here. LirA staying proactive in the jungle, moves down to try and take advantage of the level 6 Tahm Kench. Abyssal Voyage is used, though, and that's one of the cross-map abilities here for EchoFox. They still, remember, have a Taliyah post-level 6 who could try and affect one of these side lanes as well.
It's been really interesting, honestly. We talked about how Fenix loves to roam, likes to be out on the other sides of the map, and it's more Fenix, who's going to be doing that, and Febiven focusing on lane. But they've kind of taken this roaming pick and just really focused lane anyway. He's established a CS advantage. They're really keeping Febiven down, and Febiven may have some troubles, in the mid to late game because he's going to be pretty far behind his item timings.
And in addition to that, we have one of the biggest stories coming in to this matchup: the bottom lane of EchoFox, Altec and Adrian, taking a lot of criticism, not being able to play Zyrakan, being the weak part of this team. They have been pushing, they have allowed and facilitated a lot of Dardoch's, invades around this side of the map as well. Now they're moving up, though, into the river.
Looks like it's going to be a stop on this Scuttle Crab, so Clutch Gaming cannot catch a break. Thank you for the leash, indeed. Dardoch getting more and more out of this map. He's got 2 dragons, got a Rift Herald.
Yeah, anytime the Clutch Gaming later game champions are trying to steal something on the map, EchoFox move on over, and they are able to get there in time to secure that Rift Herald. Paulo's still pushing on bottom, though.
Yeah, it's definitely rough, but I mean, it's the right choice, right? Clutch can't afford to actually take these fights. They have to try to be pretty scrappy, give up the minimum, and kind of lose the early game as gracefully as they can to buy themselves time to catch back up. But I think, the attention, especially knocking down that mid lane turret, makes it that much harder for Febiven to kind of have that free time in the mid lane, to have that safety with which to farm up.
So we'll transition farther into the mid game soon enough. 1 turret's gone so far. Drakes can keep stacking up in another few minutes here. We'll see where the Rift Herald goes for turret number 2. And EchoFox, as you're mentioning, better early game team, have the advantage. We'll see where they can push that, because they cannot just wait.
Exactly. They're on a timeline here. And to Azael's point about taking away some safety from Clutch Gaming, the timeline actually is in a very good position for EchoFox. They have the Rage Blade completed on Varus, and he's using it.
Both summoners down for the ultimate. Now Apollo getting chased, a nice exhaust was it bubble, not going to matter, but here now comes Taliyah. Fenix in the mix. He's going to get pushed out, though, and Hakuho running away. No knock-up there on LirA either, as Skarner walks out, but this is still 4 versus 3, and the 3 are injured down here on this side of the map. Can LirA find the ultimate?
Oh, stopped it!
Stop the Rift Herald! Not sure if it's worth it. He's going to lose his life. Maybe so as the chase comes in for Hakuho. There's a slow. The knockback is going to kill the support, and one more shot kills off Skarner as well. Now Apollo left alone, still being attacked by a crazed Axeman, and Dardoch finds him down for the shuffle back in. Look for a double kill, and he's going to find the 2 of them. And that's going to be credit over to Apollo. Another one traded back, +1 overall for EchoFox.
What an insane little chase there as Febiven comes over to clean up some kills. It is in the end at the cost of their own life, but if you chalk up and tally everything that happened there, it looks like we've just got both sides taking over, and the Rift Herald exchange does finally end up with Altec taking down the turret in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I like the play to actually stop the Rift Herald summon there, because that would be a bit of a guaranteed turret, and they're able to actually delay so long with the Tahm Kench to buy time for Apollo.
But if EchoFox had stopped with the 2 kills, if they had pulled back there, then you would have been fine calling that a clean victory for them. Now though, Altec, he actually didn't finish the turret. He's dead.
Oh, that sucks. It did not have a teammate to stay around to help him knock it down. So they don't actually get the turret in the inevitable play. That's 3 kills in a row onto Apollo, and that is going to help Caitlyn really kind of spring forward, past this weak mid game.
We've seen a lot of times where teams drafting Olaf have had these super strong mid games or early games and then dove a little bit too deep. Here's the look onto Altec though. The Abyssal Voyage comes in very handy for picking off low mobility AD carries here, and Hakuho also landing that skill shot. Lying for the kill, but Dardoch wants revenge.
He's on the chase. Can Hakuho save? They go for the bubble on Tahm. Kench. Here's the ulti in and tanks the slow. Now can they bring Caitlyn to safety? Skarner's here to buy some time. Hakuho running low, puts on the shield, and the rest of the squad coming around. Huni on the backhand side. Gonna go for the pillar knockup. Not gonna find that just yet. No auto's gonna come in either, and they're gonna keep Apollo alive. They do lose Hakuho. Quick block on the ulti. 1 kill in for Echo Fox.
Small little thing there, but Apollo actually stepping away from the turret as Huni goes for the knockup was really big to keeping himself alive, but they will lose the turret.
All this focus bottom side though, all this focus on the bottom side has finally paid off, and they do get their second turret. So Echo Fox are continuing to open up the map. They are losing kills as they're going for this though. So Clutch Gaming are getting some gold back for themselves. In addition now Solo with some alone time top.
Yeah, that's what happens when Huni roams around. I think it's very ironic that this third place match is going the way it is for so much of the season. Oh, it's the Huni show. Echo Fox got to play around him. If you can't play carries, what will they ever do? Their bot lane's a liability. Fenix was underperforming in the semifinals, and yet this game is the Dardoch and Fenix go win the map, wherever they want to go show. It's actually a 0-0-0 Huni losing his turret. He roamed. It's not his fault necessarily, but it's just a different look for Echo Fox winning here.
It definitely is, but when you're looking at Solo and kind of his job in this game to neutralize Huni, hey, he's looking pretty damn good so far. He's up a couple of farm, he's knocked down the turret, he has a banner, he made some roams of his own.
Huni gonna kill a lot of minions here, 2 still alive, and that will be enough to kill the turret. Ult's cooldown pretty long at rank 2, so maybe that punishes him later on as the Ocean Break spawning in 1 minute, and he will not have the ulti for that. May or may not actually matter here as top lane is being attacked, and Altec plus Adrian will get quite a bit of damage here next wave.
Yeah, they also have a Taliyah in mid lane that could roam to top side, and Dardoch invading on the top side. So this top triangle is where Echo Fox trying to finish up the last outer turret for themselves and keep themselves to that timeline that they've set with the earlier game focus.
And having all these outers, knocked down gives you more access to Baron, gives you more access to Baron vision in these coming minutes. And that's really going to be the big target for them. I think that with this comp, you want to be able to force around that and establish vision control. And that's going to be their objective in the next few minutes.
Look how quickly Clutch Gaming are striking back, though. They've almost gotten all the outers themselves as well. Banner used by Solo there to continue the push, but they're barely chased off. Gonna get it!
Oh, he's gonna get it! The Solo gold as well, courtesy of Banner of Command.
Calculated.
Hey, equal in turrets, down 2 kills, but still a substantial gold difference of farm lead. Huge in the mid lane, huge in the jungle as well. Echo Fox still holding a lead here.
They are also going to be able to transition into the Dragon and keep their Drake control up, but a second Ocean, not nearly as powerful as the earlier Ocean they got, and that is going to be number 2. Oh, actually, that was it looks like we have another mountain. Lost track of 1, or the counter is a little bit off.
Yeah, double Ocean now, 1 mountain in. It's going to let them stay around the map and play for those further Drakes, Barons, turrets, whatever you want to see. Baron's up in 1.5 minutes, and so far, so good in this game for Echo Fox. I mean, it depends what you think their lead needs to be scaling later into this game, but feels like they've made a lot of very good choices and are still in control right now.
I think that they are doing well, and their gold lead is big enough. It's just, what do you do in the next, say, 10 minutes, right? If they have not taken, I think, a Baron by 28 minutes into the game, and the gold lead is stagnating, then I think it's too late. You start to really lose control of the game. As Caitlyn and Azir hit their 3.5 item spikes, that's really where you need to have gotten something done before.
And this is Clutch demonstrating what they have been working on pretty much all split long and kind of perfected this style. Very happy to scale up. Caitlyn almost to the first completed Zeal item here to come in. So those crits are going to start to be felt by Echo Fox once they can group up.
And that'll be nice. Of course, we are still on 8.5 with the incredibly powerful static shiv that is very good and deals bonus damage to minions, so that will be an important power spike for Apollo. Clear the minions away, and now a push to the top side. They're going to run away, and does dodge cleanly enough. Hakuho shows up with reinforcements, says, hey guys, we're here, the turret's going to stay alive. Echo Fox managed to bait one ultimate out and the summoner heal from the Azir.
But again, this is all part of the Echo Fox plan in controlling the jungle, getting access to that. And Apollo gonna face check.
Oh, he's gonna flash away and stay alive. No hard CC gonna land, but that is a bad summoner to miss. He's missing his heal as well, and now the re-engage towards Hakuho has the flash. Now LirA wants to pull one in. Do they have the damage for Adrian? Yes! The snipe is huge. Look at that damage output, and Adrian missing one. Means to shuffle back for more, and they've got the kill into Altec. He will lose his life, and Febi survives courtesy of Hakuho delivery service. Now Fenix must run, but he's summoned to listen Apollo, and the rest of the crew looking for the chase down. That's not going to be a stun just yet, but you imagine it will happen at some point, unless magic happens. Looks like Fenix able to walk away just barely. Dardoch as well. And Apollo now has to be pulled right back. So Fenix making the best of a terrible situation. 2 kills still did come through courtesy of Clutch and tie the kill score.
That was actually incredible from Fenix to delay there, because had he immediately gone down, that could have been Baron on spawn for Clutch. So that was huge.
It was huge, but you gotta keep in mind the overall story arc here with Clutch Gaming being so cool under pressure, getting these kills, these counter kills inside their jungle. I mean, this is after Apollo just had to flash away, but LirA goes right back in. He lands the sting. Apollo follows it up with the headshot and snipe.
Yeah. And I like to commit to that play because they saw Adrian actually flashing after Apollo, trying to land a bubble. So they know that's down, they can go for it.
And then Hakuho with these Devours gets Febiven out with like 7 HP. They then follow through with the 4-man squad.
The side steps though from Phoenix were clean.
Very clean from Phoenix though, in the execution getting out of there.
Phoenix is doing okay this game.
I mean, it's like everyone says never chase a singed, right? I feel the same way about Taliyah, because you're giving her unlimited work ground and just hitting you like fish in a barrel.
Yeah, I mean, he put out so much damage and yet not rewarded with the kill counts there. So
style points though.
Style
points.
Style's worth more than kills.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot of damage now. Dardoch as well eats a trap. Did not want to ult away from it, so half HP on this Olaf. Nothing to regen off just yet except for a couple of heals out of Adrian. Level 10 on the Nami. But
they
stays alive.
They have to fight for this, right? Because Clutch needs to establish enough defensive vision that Echo Fox cannot do a Baron out of sight. You don't need to necessarily have vision of the Baron pit, but you need to have control of your jungle so you can get access to it.
Yeah, I think the fact that Clutch Gaming did get so many of those earlier game counter kills back in this puts a little bit more pressure on Echo Fox around this first Baron and the importance of trying to control this area of the map.
And you can see right now, you talk about pressure around Echo Fox as Solo has a banner minion down to the bottom lane that Huni is dealing with. TP up on the Ornn means he can rejoin, but he is forced down here. Gives Clutch some time 5v4 to play for Baron control. As far as vision is concerned, it is pretty well Clutch favored actually. There's not a lot of blue vision on that side of the map, so maybe that play comes around, or it's just Clutch delaying and making that Baron not come in by 28 minutes.
Well, they're going to have to keep that vision up because Echo Fox, they almost have the Blade of the Ruined King completed in addition to Rage Blade on Varus, so that will be able to melt a Baron with Mountain Drake here. As long as Clutch Gaming keep up their vision though, they should be able to contest here. They've gotten enough of a mid-game stabilization to keep presence.
Waiting for next aggressive play as Fenix having a much better series so far than he did last weekend, hoping to find another 3rd place finish for him.
Yeah.
Huni and Adrian have already gotten 2 3rd place in the NA LCS, courtesy of Immortals. And now they are trying on this Baron 23 minutes in. The vision is gone. The wall comes up as well.
5,000.
That's going to buy some time. Febiven going to spot what's going on. LirA is near, but he cannot land the smite in time unless a miracle happens. Smite comes through, grabs the Baron courtesy of Dardoch, and now they re-engage. They're going to find 2 more roots. How'd they go?
That was so big for Echo Fox. I thought that Clutch Gaming were going to be able to keep enough of a warning system around the Baron, but Echo Fox jumped right on it. They didn't even complete the Blade of the Ruined King. They just used that Mountain Drake, and now they have Baron to push the tempo.
I mean, that was incredibly well done. It just felt like they tracked the base timers well enough from Clutch, and Clutch did not kind of rotate through those. Everyone went back to base at the same time. No one's out on the map to track it until it's much too late, and that's just a great aggressive shot call from Echo Fox.
Yeah, definitely going to be looking back at this point in the game as a possible turning one. We'll see what Echo Fox can do with it though, because now they're trying to push up mid and bottom at the same time. Huni is getting the split push going for them and in position.
Good luck defending a Baron 24 minutes in. It's going to be some durable minions and plenty of damage. Fenix kiting away, not CC. Banshee's Veil still on for him. As the team rotates around mid and looks like the bottom side as well. Huni is pushing up that wave. It'll reach the turret before too terribly long. Looks like he wants to buy himself his next item and then maybe TP back, or Maybe it'll be a slower game out of Fox.
I guess he has the option of just walking back if Echo Fox don't want to push turret and they would clean up a dragon, but he is going to the top side here, trying to get top pushing as well. That teleport's available, and the ultimate will be up soon as well if they do want to actually force it on one of these turrets.
I mean, Baron minions in 3 lanes is so difficult to actually wave there this early on, so you know, they do really want to spread out that pressure, try to knock down some more outers, increase the gold lead, because Clutch is trying to, again, minimize loss. Yes, they gave up the Baron, but they're still only, 3-4K behind. It's not that massive a lead when you consider they were down 3K at about 14 minutes.
Yeah, currently they're doing a good job defending their secondary turrets, but there's 1 minute and 40 seconds left on this Baron.
Well, the crits.
Playing for Altec, title coming across, the flash in for LirA means the kill comes through. No Quicksilver Sash. Mid turret does fall, though you typically take a turret as trade for a kill, but during Baron, that's maybe more than they wanted to give up.
Altec had the option of early flashing there and using his summoner spells to gain more distance, but doesn't use it, and Clutch Gaming grabbed another kill back.
Clutch can look to try to hard engage too here if Echo Fox actually stays around too long, but really nice Weaver's Wall. They're going to try to make it a trade of 2 turrets for the 1 kill, which definitely would be worth it.
Seems the re-engage would be difficult. Sion ult is down. It's really only the Shurima shuffle to find a play, and Huni wants to push the squad out. No hard CC to land, means a few seconds with the turret. LirA around the backside, though. Of course, no Apollo. He was in the bottom lane, so it's only a 4v4 at best. More damage coming through. The turret getting a bit lower. They've actually found Huni for a bit of damage. Jumps away, will stay alive. No knockback to be found just yet. Echo Fox hits to disengage cleanly enough. That turret at half HP.
Yeah, there was a slight opening there because, as you said, Apollo, they had to allocate him to the bottom side to push back on the bottom lane. And that's what Echo Fox were trying to take advantage of there, but they didn't have the damage to back up any of the crowd control they were going forward with.
Mostly minion farm then. 2 turrets picked up at cost of 1 kill. That is still a positive Baron power play. Still a blue buff as well, and this Mountain Drake is ready to be taken on the tail end of this one. Then should be no contest. Echo Fox do, in fact, grow their gold lead. It's now 4,500, and they're up 4 Drakes to 0.
And getting that double mount means you have even more access to the next Baron, to the Elders that come out later, and that is pretty scary. But you can see that Clutch, their game plan is to kill frontline versus frontline. Second item completed for Febiven was the Void Staff. He wants to be able to punch through Huni and make sure that he can actually threaten that Ornn effectively, not have him just creating space and kind of dodging in and out of the fights.
Yeah, we're approaching the 3-item Caitlyn as the next crit item does come in. There it is, rapid fire cannon now for Apollo, and he has a Tahm Kench to back him. He's so safe. Febiven can also try and peel for him with the Azir, so Clutch Gaming, even though there's this big Echo Fox lead, they're still sticking to their game plan.
And I think when Apollo hits Last Whisper and Febiven hits his 3rd item, he already has his Void Staff. That is when this team really can punch through the front line of Echo Fox, when the Olaf and the Ornn become much more susceptible to that. And I think even if you are down a couple thousand gold, you can start winning fights.
Sion ulti coming across. There's also a Tahm Kench coming around. Tidal wave again. Oh, he flashes over for a slow. He might be re-engaged upon, though. Where's the team coming across? Weaver's Wall coming down as well. It's going to be a giant team fight now. Solo ringing out pretty rapidly, trying to kite away, but he will drop. And that's 2 kills already for Echo Fox. They're looking to add more to the tally. 3 kills already. Dardoch had to chase down Apollo. Can he find that kill on Caitlyn? They've been running away, and there's still an Axe trying to find the backside. A quick haste. And he's not going to find the slow. Apollo should be able to get away.
Ooh, a bit over-aggressive call from Clutch Gaming. They didn't have Febiven with them. The Azir was not there to help with this fight. And in the end, Echo Fox fully collapsed. They are the ones with the Taliyah, easily able to use the ult to get down there. And they get some kills back for themselves. And now they're on the offensive.
Yeah, Dardoch styling on him a little bit. You can tell he's feeling it, dancing in Febiven's face.
Ooh, finds a knockup. Could that be the damage onto Apollo? Raiders for the slow. One Marauder claps him down. Huni finds the 4th kill of the extended fight. As the respawns come in, Phoenix is low, grabs the heal though, and Febiven almost, he will lose his life. The damage comes through just at the end of it all. And that is now the carry's gone, meaning the base is easy to attack. There is no damage to stop the Echo Fox push.
I mean, this could theoretically be the game. It's 40 seconds on Febiven. If they want to keep pushing, they're going to actually just try to straight up end it now.
29 minutes in, onto the Nexus turrets, and who is going to stop Dardoch, Huni, the rest of the squad solo? A short ultimate knocked into the air, the bubble is in, the kill comes through the Dardoch, ending the way it started as he gets a double on the Olaf, just smashed the jungle matchup. They won through mid lane, they pushed the advantage elsewhere, and Echo Fox take a convincing Game 1 victory in under 30 minutes.
What a fun opening to this series. It looked for a while like Clutch Gaming were going to be able to stall this one out, but in the end, Echo Fox just drive it home.
Yeah, I mean, that fight in the bot lane, that Clutch are the ones who chose that fight. Did they need to go for that? I mean, Febiven was not with the team. They're the ones who picked the fight. Echo Fox reacts so quickly, gets not only those kills, but a couple more, and then they just ended. And that's the first loss, not only for Febiven's Azir, but also for LirA's Skarner.
Yeah, I love it when we have this tug of war between one team trying to buy a little bit more time and one team feeling the pressure of pushing the tempo.
Yep.
In the end, Echo Fox were able to make it happen, though.
It was not the absolute cleanest victory. There were a couple of suspect tower dives of going too hyphy, but they had to play the game aggressively. And there is always risk when you play an aggressive game plan. You're fighting under turrets because you have to, because you drafted this way. The missteps did not cost them the game. They held a gold lead, they held control, they held tempo the whole time. I do respect the Echo Fox game plan, and they did execute well.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many key moments. The Baron as well, them getting that so quickly definitely turned the tides.
Absolutely beautiful stuff.
I mean, it's just really decisive play, right? And that's what you want to see, because Clutch, you know that they're going to be trying to delay the game. You know they're going to be trying to take it long. And Echo Fox, if they can show you more of this throughout the series, that's the recipe to this third place finish.
Yeah, especially when they're willing to give away champions, giving away the like 6-1 or whatever Skarner that LirA had, the 6-0 Azir. They're like, yeah, that's okay. It fits our draft plan. You play the slow champs. We'll take the early games. First pick the Olaf. Take the Skarner. We don't care. In fact, take the Azir. No rush. We're not going to grab that one either, because they had a game plan in mind. That's what I love when you prep for an opponent. They say, you have a tendency. We know how to beat that tendency, and it worked.
All right. The only change I want to see next time is them make it work with the Nocturne early game.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've tried it twice.
For Dardoch.
Hasn't worked out. But we're looking for it.
Yeah, we're looking for it.
Well, it's been a very good series so far. 1-0 for Echo Fox. Now to hear more about that opener, let's send it down to the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Phreak. Before we get into it, I got to welcome Stixay to the desk.
Hello.
He's been out here. You got a hotline lead last
He did
night.
make it to the finals.
Didn't make it to the finals, but he made it to Miami, and that's all that matters.
You flaming him.
Thanks, guys.
Claiming our guests from minute one. I love it, I love it, I love it. Well, we already heard Kobe calling for some draft changes in Game 2, saying maybe Nocturne is the way to go. Let's go ahead and couch that option, but I do want to talk about the draft and the way it's developed here in this series.
Yeah, Dash, I see that Echo Fox won the game for sure, but I still don't like this draft. I think Olaf should be a tradable pick for the Skarner, and then the fact that they gave away both Caitlyn and Azir, which I think should both be first pick priority based on the bans, made me think that Clutch got pretty much the perfect draft for them, but then they still lost the game.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like the coach side of me is like, I hate this draft a little bit, because like you heard them say, this was their first losses on these champions. That's a very ballsy thing to go in and do, but at the same time, the fan side of me is like, if Dardoch is going to Hulk out this hard and warp the game around his Olaf, I would love to see that. Like, that is that huge carry performance you want to see in big games.
All right, but Stixay, what are your thoughts? Because we've talked a lot about how the meta has moved towards this kind of bot-centric, place in the latter half of the season. And so you got the Xayah ban coming through, and yet Varus is the answer to the Caitlyn where we've seen Ashe before.
Yeah, I also don't really like the draft. I feel like this is kind of a game where, if you ran the same draft back in Game 2, Clutch will probably win the next game.
Okay.
They see, Dardoch's pathing. They're not going to get punished as hard by it. And then they'll just not make as many plays, because they don't really need to. They can just kind of, sit there and just scale, and it's all on Fox to kind of just make a play. And if Fox could just can't get the play, then, they're going to win.
When you talk about Dardoch's early pathing, that's where we got to start. You talk about warping the game around his Olaf. Let's take a look at this early jungle path that got him a surprisingly large
and some of this has to do with early game warding, the fact that he was able to invade Raptors and then take red, but it's what he does after, which most people aren't even willing to try. This is an 8-camp clear into a Drake that Dardoch does. You don't see that because usually the enemy team will scout the jungle and make some play to be able to counter that. But based on the fact they had the Nami in the bottom lane for the earlier priority to keep that push, based on the fact that they saw LirA not only at blue but also at red, lets Dardoch know that he can actually just keep clearing, and this gave him a massive advantage.
It was a clearly well thought out game plan. You have the pushing mid that they traded out, and you heard the casters talking a lot about that kind of mid jungle, that the pushing advantage they should have. They also have it in the bot side with the Nami pick. So this felt like a very clear setup, bestified game 1 approach. But I don't know if this is, like we said, the kind of draft you want to do every time.
Right, and we haven't even approached the conversation around the mid lane picks, right? I know Jet coming into this series, we were talking, off screen about the importance and the priority that might get placed on Azir with the 2 players that would be piloting that champion in the mid lane.
Yeah, Phoenix's Taliyah ended up looking good as well, being able to turn some 2v2s, which is what you're wanting to do with the Olaf and Taliyah. But overall, I was very disappointed in Clutch's actually trying to make too many plays. The whole year, people have been saying, yeah, Clutch just plays great defense and they scale up to late game. Yet we see Febi diving in as Azir in the mid lane. We see them TK ulting later on. They felt spooked to me to try to make the big play on the stage when they did not have to based on team composition.
There might be an overcorrection a little bit from what we saw in Game 5 of their previous series because they were a little gun-shy that series. This time they're trying not to be gun-shy, but they're forcing these plays around one of their weakest parts of the map.
You're flashless without vision and you're shifting it on Azir.
Yeah.
Right. In this situation, Sticks, at Game 1 of a best of 5, is your approach normally to be more aggressive and test the limits or more calculated and, say, reserved?
Yeah, I think this game definitely, you can see there's nerves from Clutch, and I think in Game 1 it's okay to have that, because, I mean, you have 4 more games to play, so they have a lot of room to fix their errors.
All right, that sounds good enough to me, but Clutch, this overreaching mentality is something that we've actually attributed more to Echo Fox, especially when they're behind or in a deficit, and Clutch has always been that kind of steady as we go team. And so, in a sense, reversing places here, and that might be akin to what Zyrene has pointed out to me many, many times before, is Huni gets knocked out in the semifinals, and he comes back with a fire in that 3rd place match.
And what's funny about that is his Ornn was not very clean. He missed 2 ultimates completely on the 2nd shot after he hit the slow portion, basically an unmissable skill, and missed a lot of his E-stuns against the turret. But the other 4 people on Echo Fox is what I think stood out. The fact that they actually did have lane pressure, even if they spent their whole draft to be able to get it in the bottom lane, and the fact that Phoenix had a good game on Taliyah, which is a pick he hasn't normally excelled on, were the impressive things to me.
There's definitely room for improvement. Altec got caught out a couple too many times and got picked on a little bit with some of those Skarner engages. And then the really aggressive Baron call is something I want to keep seeing out of Echo Fox. When they were at their best at the start of the season, you saw them relentless around that objective, and they did it again here, and I hope they keep that mentality.
All right, so here's the thing. CG has selected blue side for the next time around. There are also going to be no subs. So Stick says, as we talk about this draft, it seems like Clutch is almost in a weird position because you mentioned they would be very happy to draft the same exact composition. So how do they enter this, with a defined game plan in terms of how they attack the draft phase?
I think they just have to take away mid-jungle priority from Fox, because I think that's the best way that Fox can win the game. They just play through Dardoch and Phoenix having pressure. Taliyah Olaf's the perfect combo for them. So I think even maybe banning something like Olaf would be good for them.
All right, banning that Olaf. Of course, we saw the high priority on Olaf over the Skarner, and that's a comfort pick for LirA. I do want to check in on the over-unders, of course. The first one that I want to check in on, of course, is the total kills. We're going to pull that one up.
Yeah.
You guys had all said over at 67.5, and we're on our way there.
Oh, yeah.
Boom.
22 kills. We're a third of the way there.
Kills. So obviously, if it's a 3-game series with that average, we won't quite hit the mark. But basically,
by 1.
Yeah, that's my point. So if we go over 3 games, we're most likely hitting it. Based on Game 1, where do you guys expect Clutch to cover for themselves in Game 2?
I think what he was saying about the mid-jungle problems that they kind of ran into is a big point. That level 1 abuse that they had is something you can easily adapt to in a series, and that's what you're looking for your coaching staff to prepare you for.
All right, sounds good. Game 1 in Miami goes to Echo Fox. We'll see if Clutch Gaming can shake it off when we return for Game 2. Don't touch that browser.
The play